I hope that if we don't persuade them with the moral and logical case, they will at least see the business case for not calling half their readers hateful bigots anymore, and for giving up on this hateful conspiracy theory-based claptrap. So give it a few years, but I think you're going to see the influence of these awful people quite substantially diminished within the next decade, to the point where people don't have to be afraid anymore. They don't have to be scared when they make a joke on Twitter that Gawker, well, not Gawker anymore, or that somebody, you know, whether it's Mike, have you seen this site, Mike, which is trying to be the new Gawker, M-I-C, dreadful. The Trump art show on Saturday was going to give 30% of its profits to a gay veterans charity. And Mike phoned them up and said that we were all white supremacist neo-Nazis and got the gay veterans charity to say that they didn't want the donation. That kind of ugly activism. I don't know, because I wasn't on the call, but what I do know is that they were happy to get the money, and then Mike called them, and then they weren't happy to get the money. I think under the threat of negative publicity, I think Mike called them up and said, you know, we're going to write a story about how these white supremacist Donald Trump supporting monsters are giving money to your charity. Do you want to be associated with that? What do you say if you're running a charity in response to that? What do you do? Well, you don't have many options. So they basically bullied a gay veterans charity into turning down money because they hate me so much. That is the standard of your journalists in this country, and I hope they burn in hell. I really do. So I think all of that's going to get a lot better quite quickly because people are sick of it. And the more they hear about it, the more they hate it. Thanks.
Hey, Milo. Thank you for being my new favorite man on the internet.
Well, thank you.
Great jersey. There's your 2 compliments. And for the question.
It's good, isn't it? I like it.
It is a good jersey.
These guys make really good shirts. They've got a whole range of them. If you're not a Trump fan, they have Reagan as well. I'll put the link somewhere.
All right. And for my question, the polls that I've been seeing has Trump not doing as well as he was a few weeks ago. Do you buy this? Do you think that will have any impact, or do you think the enthusiasm gap will be too big and Trump will come out on top?
Well, the enthusiasm gap's amazing. I mean, I'm just, you know, one guy who does college speeches who quite likes Trump, but we speak to a lot of the same people, I think. And I sold out a 1,200-seater at Louisiana State in 48 hours.
Woo.
Hillary Clinton can't get 200 people to her rallies, and most of them are probably bussed in. You know? She can't get 200 people to show up. I mean, Trump is getting 30,000, you know? Something tells me, and I hope I'm right about this, something tells me that the same thing is going to happen here as happened with Brexit in the UK. When almost the entire, all of the sort of centrist and left-wing media were saying that if you choose this route to sovereignty, you're a racist and a bigot and a monster, and you're, you know, regressive and backward-looking and reactionary. And we voted for it anyway. And I think that's going to happen with Trump. I hope it's going to happen with Trump. Certainly everything that I know has led me to believe that the rise of these populist, libertarian and right-wing movements, whether it's AfD in Germany, or UKIP, or Brexit, whatever, it has I mean, we have a habit of confounding the polls. We have a habit, even now, since Brexit, of confounding the betting odds. You can't trust them anymore either. So I hope that, I really do hope that he wins, and I still think he will. Because America deserves to, you know, more than just deserving Daddy and his wall. And we do want the wall, don't we, folks? I want you to have the wall. I want you to have the wall. And fixing trade and destroying political correctness. It is just as important, in my view, that you keep the Clintons out of the White House. You've got to keep them away from the White House. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but I think you're gonna be okay. Thanks.
Hey, Milo.
I appreciate the gesture.
So you're an amazing author of your written content, and you mentioned Christopher Hitchens earlier, and I draw many parallels between the two of you. So my question is, when are you going to write Letters to a Young Provocateur in the same spirit that he wrote Letters to a Young Contrarian?
Well, I've been promising a Gamergate book forever. and I'm mostly finished, but I'm not completely sure it's going to see the light of day. I hope it does. But I have, you will be pleased to know that I've just this week about to submit the first half of my first real serious big book to my agent, which is going to be going out for tender with publishers. Early signs are there's going to be quite a big bidding war. They say it's going to be the book of the year. So you will be able to read me at greater length very soon. Hopefully, I would imagine we'd have a deal by September, so it'll probably be out in January, February, if I get my act together. So yeah, I'm working on it, I promise. Thank you.
Hi. I was wondering just a couple of things. First of all, I think we all know your general status on Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
But out of all of their specific policy proposals they actually have on a number of websites, is there even one that you can find that you think there's some reason to? Also, what do you think of the third-party candidates for president this year, specifically like Gary Johnson or Jill Stein?
I can't honestly say that I've found any of Black Lives Matter's proposals interesting or persuasive. And in fact, they're getting worse. If you look at the Black Lives Matter websites now, they're they have these weird things about communal living. They're sort of turning into these bizarre communist Marxist things. And of course, because they're funded by Soros, it's inevitable that will happen. They've got these sort of weird things. They don't just want to tear down, white power, white oppression, but they want to tear down the patriarchy. This is intersectionality, the idea that feminists have to stick up for Black Lives Matter, who have to stick up for the trannies, who have to stick up for everybody else, because there basically isn't enough support for any of them, and there aren't enough, really bad things to go around. So they have to pool their resources just to keep people listening. Well, Black Lives Matter does this quite effectively with feminism and whatever. I can't honestly say I'm particularly interested in anything they have to say, and what they have to say is getting more and more mental. And far more worrying than anything they have to say is what they do. And of course, Twitter, which will punish a homosexual for making a joke about a woman's appearance, has no problem with Black Lives Matter activists who openly celebrate the murder of police officers and may even be responsible for them. And the behavior of Black Lives Matter, which is incredibly self-destructive, seems to me to only really to have produced one result, which is black cities in flames. Black neighborhoods in flames. It's done nothing for black people. It has done nothing for anyone. So no, I can't honestly say I've heard anything from them that is particularly exciting. Second question, what was the second question? I've lost it. Oh yeah, third party. No, they're a fucking joke. Jill Stein. Oh my goodness, no look. Now you saw that naked guy at the Libertarian conference. Did you see that? I just posted it with this is what a libertarian looks like. He sort of started off okay, and we thought, maybe this guy's going to take some votes from Trump, and then he's turned into a social justice warrior. He's like whinging about, sort of the wrong language used about immigrants. The guy's a cuck. He's an idiot. Problem with libertarians, and lots of people like to think of themselves as libertarians, and they get offended when or they get upset with me when I say that libertarians are a joke and a waste of space. Then we drill down and we discover that they're not really libertarians. The problem with libertarianism is it's a sort of admission that you've given up looking for any answers. We're keeping you from something. It's a sort of, it's an admission that you've given up looking for the answers. I mean, those of us who have a sort of political philosophy have worked out that, society ought to look like this, and some of us come to those conclusions through feelings, some through fact. If you're left-wing, you come to those conclusions through feelings. If you're right-wing, you've come to those conclusions through facts. Libertarians just sort of give up the game entirely. It seems to me a sort of like scaled-up selfishness. It's like I can't be bothered to work out what's right, and I just want to be left alone to smoke weed and mine Bitcoin, and read Glenn Greenwald. This all sort of like, everybody should just be left alone to do what they want. Well, yes, there is a responsible place for classical liberalism within a robust, republicanism or conservatism, but just simply opting out of the question altogether, and not even agreeing that there should be incentives in the tax system for married couples seems to me like a way of giving up bothering to address any of the difficult questions in politics, and it's a sort of loser's way out, sort of laziness and selfishness. So, the real libertarianism I don't have much time for. And libertarians themselves are just fucking weird. And I like weird people. Like my whole life is full of mavericks and misfits, but they're just weird.